We're looking at a story today from our source material that absolutely proves extraordinary success isn't just about massive overnight opportunities. It's not about winning the genetic lottery. Actually, a lot of the time, it's about that invisible, totally unglamorous work that happens when literally nobody is watching. So, picture the scene for a second. Every single night, long after the clinking of those expensive wine glasses faded out and the bright dining room lights dimmed down, the glamour completely evaporated. Back in the kitchen, the smell of industrial bleach and stale grease just kind of took over. And while the waitstaff counted their tips and headed home, one guy remained. He wasn't cooking, he wasn't serving, and he definitely wasn't managing the books. Just Noah. He was washing dishes, hundreds of them, every single night. We're talking heavy cast iron pans, delicate little plates, just endless piles of utensils. The work, well, it felt like it never really ended. It was relentless, physically exhausting, and just incredibly monotonous. Most of the customers, they never even knew his name. Heck, his own coworkers barely noticed him passing by. To the whole world, he was just the dishwasher. But hidden behind all those clattering plates, Noah was quietly building something way more valuable than his weekly paycheck.
All right, moving on to section 1, the invisible worker.
To really get Noah's situation, we have to look back at his foundation. See, his childhood was flooded with constant financial stress, which pretty much stripped away his confidence super early on. He struggled socially too, not because he wasn't smart, but because he just deeply, deeply doubted himself. So by the time he hit adulthood, this grueling, totally unseen job felt like a permanent trap. Every evening looked exactly the same. He'd watch the chefs get all the praise, see the managers command respect, all while he was just scrubbing away behind closed doors. Then, one night, staring down this massive stack of dirty pans, it hit him. He asked himself this deeply painful question: is this all my life will ever be? And that heavy realization right there, that was the inciting incident that forced him to finally look for a real way out. Which brings us to section 2, the mentor's advice. Inside this same restaurant worked an older, deeply respected chef named Victor. Victor noticed Noah's profound discouragement, and he decided to step in. He offered this piece of really hard-hitting advice. He told him, people become trapped long before their circumstances trap them. Most people stop growing, then they blame life. Wow, right? This was a massive realization for Noah. In that very instant, he realized that his job wasn't actually the thing preventing his growth. It was his habits. He'd been sitting there waiting for his life to change, without actually doing anything to change how he lived it. Okay, on to section 3, the 1% change. Noah decided to take immediate control of his situation, starting right in the morning. Now, instead of some massive, dramatic life overhaul, the kind we all try and then abandon in like 3 days, he just woke up 30 minutes earlier. That's it. He spent that first half hour just reading. And as that habit became normal over the next few weeks, he stacked on something new. He added exercise, then journaling, then reading business books. Basically, he was completely transforming his mindset before he ever even stepped foot inside that kitchen. The goal here was incredibly simple: 1%. Noah literally just aimed to get 1% better every single day. Now, sure, the transformation wasn't instantly visible to anyone on the outside looking in, but internally, the shift was very, very real. He was building an entirely new identity from the ground up. But as we know, growth always creates some friction. Noah faced some pretty significant social resistance. His friends laughed at him. His coworkers made jokes about the guy trying to absorb high-level corporate business strategy, while wearing an apron covered in yesterday's lasagna. Even his own family members told him he was just being unrealistic. And yeah, at first it really hurt. But then Noah realized something crucial. People often criticize the growth they don't understand simply because it kind of threatens their own complacency. So instead of arguing about it, Noah just stayed laser focused on his 1%. So let's look at section 4, surviving the struggle. Because things were actually about to get much, much worse. The restaurant ended up losing business, hours were severely cut, and Noah's income just plummeted overnight. Suddenly, all that intense financial pressure and self-doubt he hadn't felt since he was a kid came rushing right back. Sitting alone outside the restaurant after a totally exhausting shift, he seriously considered just throwing in the towel and giving up. But instead of stopping his growth and blaming life like most people would, Noah chose the path of the committed. He realized that literally anyone can improve when life is easy and the paychecks are clearing. Real growth? That happens during the times of struggle. Those difficult seasons are what actually reveal your true commitment. So no matter what, he refused to stop his morning routines. All right, moving into section 5, creating your own future. Now, what's truly fascinating about this next phase is how Noah's hidden habits suddenly collided with a real-world problem. The restaurant owner desperately needed help organizing the business operations. We're talking scheduling, inventory, just making the whole kitchen more efficient. While everyone else immediately stepped back to avoid the extra work, Noah volunteered. He took all those secretly developed skills, his communication, organization, leadership, problem solving, and applied them to completely streamline the operations. And the results? They were undeniable. He got a promotion, and then another, and then another. The dishwasher who once felt totally invisible became entirely impossible to ignore. He eventually went on to manage multiple locations, vastly improving his income and completely transforming his life. Years later, Noah walked back into that exact same kitchen and saw a young dishwasher standing by the sink. The kid looked tired, discouraged, and just completely lost. Noah walked right over to him and shared this vital piece of wisdom. He said, "Never let your current position decide your future." Let's quickly break down the core takeaways from Noah's journey here. Success rarely begins with extraordinary opportunities just casually dropping into your lap. It actually begins with ordinary, everyday decisions to learn. And most importantly, it continues even when your progress feels totally invisible to the outside world. Look, Noah didn't change his life in a single week or even a single month. He changed it one habit, one book, and one day at a time. I really want you to remember this. Where you start is absolutely not where you must finish. If you're listening to this explainer right now and you're feeling stuck, or if you feel totally overlooked at your job, or maybe you feel like you're putting in all this work that is completely invisible to the people around you, just remember Noah. The external success always, always follows the internal growth. So, I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought to really challenge your perspective today. Will the effort nobody sees today create the future everybody notices tomorrow? Take a hard, honest look at your daily, unseen habits. Are you actually building a solid foundation for growth, or are you just sitting there waiting for circumstances to magically change? The power is entirely in your hands, and it starts with your very next decision. If this explainer resonated with you today, I want you to claim that commitment right now. Drop a comment below saying, "I am building my future." Because honestly, your future is being built by exactly what you choose to do today. Keep learning, keep pushing, and keep moving forward.